Designing collaborative assignments and assessments to facilitate productive work together. Try asking your students this question. Under what circumstances should two political opponents with a history of fighting, for example, a liberal and a conservative member of Congress, come together to work on something? Then pose this question. What if your family and neighbors had opposing views, and a tree on your property line was damaged in a storm, and threatened to fall and damage both homes' roofs? More often than not, the students will set preconditions on the political opponents working together. For example, a dialogue, an apology, a town hall with constituents, but not the neighbors whom they'll advise to get right to work. A common purpose makes all of the difference. Fortunately, in college classes, we have a common purpose, pursuing our learning objectives and outcomes, both in comprehension and skill building. Here are some simple tools you can use to help students be ready to get into action like the neighbors who have a common purpose. First, model a spirit of we. Use we in your syllabus and verbally, rather than you as students. Second, refer to students as colleagues. Explain what colleagues actually are and ask them to offer their own definition. Then, in class discussion, for example, when a student has made a point that you would like to emphasize and get students to engage with, say, our colleague has made the following point. What do we think of that? Remind students of their identities as learners and that this is a shared identity and journey. Second, encourage students to love questions. Instead of a civil debate in which people fight politely, recognize the course as a place for inquiry. Establish a habit of mind to identify questions first. Primarily, what do we need to know in order to be more educated about this topic? Students can often find it really challenging to pause and identify the questions that they will need to pursue in order to be more educated about a topic. Give them time, and often it can be helpful to even offer an example of a question, the answer to which would be beneficial in pursuing your learning objective. When assessing group work or any work, recognize and reward students for identifying nuance and contingency. Remind them that certainty is not the most likely outcome of higher order inquiry. You can do this, for example, by designing assessments that ask them to create a research design, ask them to write an annotated bibliography, ask them to generate a set of questions. Enable students to be comfortable merely with achieving a sense of the broad ecosystem of ideas that experts would have to study and be familiar with in order to proceed and become truly wise in their problem solving. Use project-based learning. Where possible, give students problems to solve together and report back to the group. Utilize your learning management system to solicit and assess collaborative work, asking questions like, would your group members want to work with you again and why? And offering students the opportunity to reflect on that. Remember, we can't assess what we haven't taught. Take the opportunity to discuss what it means to be a good colleague, including that we are all human. Offer tools and tips for organizing and managing projects, and remind students to show one another the understanding that they want for themselves.